Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. We are from group 5 presenting for the subject CWT4113 Design Theory. Our presentation title is Gestalt Theory. Gestalt Theory is presented under the visual perception theory in design. This theory explains how humans naturally organize visual elements and perceive them as a whole rather than as individual parts. In this presentation, we will briefly introduce Gestalt theory and discuss its relevance in design practice. Let me introduce our group members. My name is NURUL, HAIFA, SYAFIQAH. These are my group members, AZLIN, HIDAYAH, Wahidah, and MASITAH. Before we start, I will briefly outline the content of our presentation. First, we will introduce the chosen theory, which is Gestalt theory. Then, we will discuss its relevance to design practice, followed by the application of the theory in design. After that, we will present a critical evaluation of Gestalt theory. And finally, we will conclude with our group reflection. Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NURUL, HAIFA, SYAFIQAH Binti MOHAMAD LUTPI. My number metric C2381470. Today I am going to talk about the introduction of the Gestalt theory. Gestalt theory is a visual perception theory that explains how humans naturally perceive visual elements as a complete whole rather than as separate and independent parts. This theory was developed in the early 20th century in Germany by a group of psychologists, including Max Wertheimer, Wolfgang Kohler, and Kurt Kofka. Originally, Gestalt theory was introduced to study how the human mind organizes and interprets visual information. In the context of design, Gestalt theory plays an important role because it helps designers understand how users visually process information. By applying this theory, designers are able to arrange elements such as shapes, text, image, and colors in more organized and meaningful way. This allows information to be communicated more clearly and reduce visual confusion. Overall, Gestalt theory provides a strong foundation for effective visual communication, and it's widely applied in various design fields such as graphic design, user interface and user experience design, branding, and advertising. It helps designers create designs that are not only visually appealing but also functional and easy for users to understand.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is HIDAYAH HASHIM and my metric number is C23B1557. Today we want to discuss about the topics of the Gestalt theory, and the topic is relevance to design practice. We want to discuss the topic on Gestalt theory, and the main subtopic is relevance to design practice. In design practice, Gestalt theory refers to set physiological principles that describe how the human brain naturally organizes visual information into meaningful patterns and unified wholes. Derived from the German word for the shape or form, from the central tenet is that the whole is different from the sum of its parts. Core Gestalt principles in design. Designers use this law to create intuitive interface, clear hierarchies, and visual cohesive layouts. Can you see in the slide is the content of core Gestalt principles in design. Okay, the first one is proximity. Elements placed close together are perceived as a related or part of the same group. Similarity. The brain groups elements that share visual traits like color, shape, size, or texture. Okay, next, continuity. The eye naturally follows the smoothest path, preferring continuous line or curve over abrupt change. And next, closure. Humans instinctively fill in missing information to perceive a complete shape, even if parts are absent. Okay, next, figure or ground. The eye distinguishes between the main subject, figure, and the surrounding space, the ground. Okay, next, fragrance, simplicity. Fragrance is the term of the German words for the means simplicity. People perceive complex image in their simplest, most stable form. The last one is common fate, element moving in the same direction and perceived as a part of the same group. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
My name is Wahidah Binti Nekmat, matric C2381162. I will present application of theory of Gestalt theory. So this topic is explain how human naturally perceive visual element as unify the whole rather than separate parts. The principle describe how the human mind organize groups and interprets visual information during a view process. There are several keys of principle in Gestalt theory that describe how our brain organizes visual information. First is proximity. Proximity is an element that are placed close to each other that perceived as a group. For example, when the button or text are placed near each other, user automatically thinks that they are belong together. So next is similarity. Similarity is element that look similar in terms of color, shape, size, perceived or as related. It's common to use the menus icon to show the same function. So next is closure is often to apply in logo and poster design. Even when the shape is incomplete, the human brain can still recognize upon the form. This is make design more creative where they remain easy to understand. The principle of continuity is used to guide the user eyes across the layout. Design rearrange the element in visual flow so user naturally follow the content from the one section to another. Lastly, the figure and ground is applied to highlight important elements. Designer use the contrast to make the key information, such as a call to action buttons, and overall the background. Overall, the application of Gestalt theory helps designer create layouts that clear, organized, and user-friendly. In this section, I will present my critical reflection on the application of Gestalt theory, focusing on its strengths, weaknesses, and challenges. First, let's look at the strengths. Gestalt principles such as proximity, similarity, closure, and continuity help designers organize visual elements more effectively. These principles make design easier to understand because users naturally group related elements together. This theory is also very suitable for graphic designs, multimedia, and visual communication, as it improves clarity and visual harmony in design layout. Next, the weaknesses. One limitation of Gestalt theory is that it focuses mainly on visual perception. It does not fully consider emotional factor, cultural background, or user experience. Because of this, Gestalt principles alone may not be sufficient to solve complex design problems, and designers often need to combine them with other design theories for better results. Finally, the challenges. One major challenge is choosing the most suitable Gestalt principle for a specific design. Different designs require different approach. Another challenge is adapting these Gestalt principles to meet the diverse preferences of users, as not all users perceive visual in the same way. In conclusion, Gestalt theory is very useful in design, but it should be applied carefully and combined with other approaches to create more effective and user-centered designs.
Lastly, group reflection. Through this group work, we learned that Gestalt theory plays a crucial role in helping designers understand how users naturally perceive and organize visual information. By applying principles such as proximity, similarity, closure, and figure ground, our team gained insight into how effective visual structure can enhance clarity, usability, and communication in design. We also realized that while Gestalt principles are powerful tools for creating visually cohesive and intuitive designs, they have limitations and must be supported by other design theories to address emotional and user-specific factors. Overall, this project strengthened our ability to critically evaluate design decisions and reinforced the importance of thoughtful visual organization in design practice.